Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I appreciate the great work that all the panelists are doing. You know, I listen to some of my colleagues, and some of my Democratic colleagues continue to make this narrative that climate change is somehow an issue that's a bigger threat than China or Russia, that the military has something to do with. Let me just ask, you mentioned basing locations in your exchange with Senator Warren. General Brown, you mentioned some climate change. Do you actually take into account strategic location for basing locations as well?
Senator, we do.
Good. Is that a pretty high priority?
Strategic location and operational mission requirements are high on the list, and it probably carries most of the weight in our decision-making for strategic basing.
And that's what I would assume. Do you remember the father of the Air Force, Billy Mitchell? Do you remember what he called the most strategic place in the world?
I do, and you remind me often it's Alaska.
Oh, okay. I'm just checking. So that's pretty strategic. Just checking. And, you know, if DOD stopped using any fossil fuels, like today, forever, how much do you think that would reduce global greenhouse gas emissions? I'll just give you the answer. It wouldn't. So your mission is to fight and win wars, kill people. Yes, sometimes we have to say that. So I think it's really important to just stay focused on lethality. A lot of times you're getting pushed to do climate change, trying to fix climate change. The Department of Defense is not going to fix climate change. So that's what most people believe. I just want you to hear it from senators who care about the real mission of the Department of Defense, which is to fight and win our nation's wars, not somehow be the lead agency fighting climate change. It's not your role. You're not capable of doing it. And I know you get pressure from the other side to do it all the time, including the president, and I think it's nuts. So stay focused. Well, can I get your commitment to stay focused on your number one mission? What is your number one mission?
Number one mission for the Air Force is to fly, fight, and win, provide air power anytime, anywhere.
Great. Thank you, General. That's a great mission. Jay Park, and Senator Rosen was just talking about the Nevada testing range. I, too, am very concerned about the reduction in the Department of Defense's budget. But as you know, prioritizing that kind of high-end training and fighting, particularly fifth gen, it remains important. Can I get your commitment to prioritize and accelerate the investments in Jay Park and the Nevada testing range? I think Jay Park's about 10 times bigger, to achieve the threat matrix level 4 capability that I know you're very interested in, even though you're starting to see declining budgets?
Senator, you do have my commitment, and as you described, Jay Park and the Nevada Test and Training Range are the two ranges we have for the United States Air Force that we're looking to get the threat level 4 and another 6 that will be threat level 3. And so we have a strategy to be able to do that for both Nevada Test and Training Range and the Jay Park.
So I have a commitment, thank you on that. I have a commitment from the incoming secretary, and I know we're going to do it together, you, me, and him, on the KC-46, the global basing decisions on our new tankers. You and I have talked about this for over 5 years. So can I get your commitment to, when he gets confirmed, to work with me in this committee just on the new strategy that the Air Force has put forward on that? It's been a moving target, as you know, but it's an important issue for me and the country.
Senator, you have my commitment.
What about the issue of the E-3? And how are we looking at the replacement? You may have seen this big Russian exercise last fall where they actually had, I think it was either 5 or 6 bear bomber runs in the Adas of Alaska, where we had to go scramble 6 different sections of F-22s to go intercept these simultaneous incursions into our airspace by the Russians. It was unbelievable, biggest one ever. And as you know, there were no AWACS up there. That was a really tough mission. Our great pilots in Alaska did it well, but they did it with no AWACS capability, which is tough. What are we looking at in terms of the AWACS replacement, and how quickly do you think we can get that going?
There's a couple things we are looking at, reference the AWACS. One is some modernization aspects of the AWACS. At the same time, looking at advanced technologies to do airborne moving target indication from other capabilities. That technology is not quite there, so we're going to have to take a look at some type of gap. And we are looking at a handful of platforms that may have that capability to bridge to the newer technology. And that's what, not necessarily in this budget cycle, but it's something that I am looking at internal to the Air Force.
Is the E-7 one of those you're looking at?
E-7 is one of those candidates. It's actually flown by the our, Royal Australian Air Force. The Royal Air Force from the UK is also purchasing. It is a capable platform. I've actually personally flown on it, so it is one of those that I am considering.
Great. Thank you, gentlemen. And, Mr. Chairman, I'll have additional questions for the record.